This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am sitting here with our old friend now, Diego Santana, who's joining us all the way from Rioja, where he produces some rather wonderful wines that we have tasted before. How are you today, sir?
Very good, thank you very much.
So we've already gone over the kind of history of Valenciso before, but I was very happy to hear that you've gone down an interesting path when it comes to the viticulture and the production of your wines.
Yeah.
Would you mind telling us a little bit
Yeah,
about
we have
that?
to make a big step and try to bring a next challenge for the winery, which is like going everything into conversion into organic.
And what are the biggest challenges of going into organic viticulture in Rioja?
I mean, there's two main important things. First of all, to understand organic in Rioja, it's a big challenge because you have to think about the orography of the region. We have 110,000 parcels, and the average of the parcel is half an hectare, which means that the biggest challenge, first of all, is where your vineyards are located in terms of altitude and in terms of location, of course. I mean, because I always said to people, unless you are in the higher part of the hill, it's impossible to be organic, because you can do all the work of organic down the hill, but if your neighbor up the hill is not organic,
course, yeah.
you get everything through the soils. So that's the biggest challenge. And the second biggest challenge in Rioja, of course, as you may know, but in Rioja only 2.5% of the vineyards are organic.
Oh, only 2.5,
2.5,
which shows that there are some real challenges there. And you're
huge.
talking about, I mean, you have about 65,000 hectares under vine in the region, about 16,000 different vineyards, I believe, or thereabouts, and about 600 wineries.
Yes.
So only 2.5%.
Of the vineyards.
Okay, of the vineyards,
Which means like there's a big challenge because it's a region that is, I mean, it's not that, it's difficult because it's a lot of challenge, but you have to think it's a vineyard with a cool climate and really kind of separate like weather like times and the year. So it's manageable in that sense, but nowadays we are facing a big challenge because what's happening because of global warming. We're getting later harvest, which means we're starting harvesting end of September up to the end of October, which means we're getting closer to the winter time. So then we face a lot of problem of botrytis, medium and oleum, and with the organic like approach, it's really hard to manage that because there's no much, especially with the botrytis, there's not much you can do about it. So at the end, what we have to do is like take the challenge and try to do the harvest before. Or, to be honest, just to measure our quantity of wine harvested and get the one that is not good and throw it away. So it's a big challenge, not only in the way of producing the wine, it's in the amount of quantity of wine you are able to produce every vintage.
So climate change is impacting the difficulties in implementing organic viticulture.
Yes, and that's why I said before, that's what I think Rioja, only 2.5% of the vineyard is organic, because nobody wants to take the proper challenge to do this kind of change into the vineyard management, which means that you have to be more intensive in work, you have to kind of give up some things, let's say, we have to, because I think it's a trade-off. I mean, you have to give up volume of grapes for quality, so it's a different approach of what you should do in the vineyard and what is going to be the results of the wine you produce in Rioja, basically.
And so what are you using to combat these fungicidal problems?
Mostly, I mean, we are in transition to organic, but I have to say that we have been organic since the beginning. Right. Okay, so we have been 20 years working in the organic side of the farming.
Yes, yeah.
But now we are in it's a big challenge to become organic because you have to make it real in terms of
the certification. And the like, yes.
Okay? So that's that makes you to tweak a bit things to make it different. But the biggest challenge is a matter of how do you fight the disease, basically. I mean, and at the end you can control that naturally. I mean, we have for like...
What kind of biotechnological alternatives?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
So that's the first thing we use, like kind of everything organic fertilization, organic product that we have been trying for many years at the winery. But also we try to understand more the organic side, like creating the natural ecosystem within the winery. To give an example, we have implemented like hotel for insects. So what we try to do is like in a space of like small hotel, it is indeed different like parts of this hotel. So the idea is that the insects create their natural ecosystem, so they can regulate themselves and we don't have to kind of use any pesticide or anything to fight any kind of bugs or any kind of external insect. The other thing we do, which is working really well for us, is like to control the pheromones. For example, we use like organic strings, and these strings, what they do is like we release pheromones, so the insects get
to kind of confuse the insects. Is that for moths more than anything else?
Yeah.
Once I was in a vineyard in Germany, and they had implemented a similar system, and I found one of these pheromone things on the ground, and I put it in my pocket, forgot about it. And then we walked to another vineyard that was just being planted, and I had a cloud of moths buzzing around my head because
of this.
It was a big mistake.
Yeah.
So you're finding the pheromones are working well for the moth problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
what kind of insect pressures, apart from the moths, do you face in Rioja?
You have some specific flies, some insects called burritos.
Okay, is that like a mite?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But mostly flies, because when you get closer to at the end of the summer, you get a bit of change from really hot weather in Rioja to more like you get a transit of humidity, and that brings a lot of flies into the vineyards basically, and we try to control it that way. And also, of course, we use the flowers in order to see if there's anything
like the predatory insects
so
and
we
things.
can control that.
Right.
It's like our thermometer. So if the flowers are getting anything wrong, which means that something might come into the vineyard.
I understand.
So this is when we try to analyze that and try to react and try to find the right product, organic, of course, in order to protect the vineyard.
That works as your alarm bell more than anything else.
Basically, that's it is. I mean, people think that because the vineyards are nicer, but honestly, it's our alarm for any disease or any problems in the winery.
And with regards to not using any kind of herbicides, as many wineries do, what do you do alternatively?
Well, we have to think we don't need to use much of herbicide because we are planted in clay calcareous soils, so there's not much of life going on there. Our vines are from 60 to 80 years old,
so they're already well established.
They're already kind of like self-control in some ways, and we have been doing this for so many years. Like at the beginning, we have to use some kind of organic herbicides, which are effective, not ineffective.
Oh, with the younger vines and things.
Yeah. But now all the soils are already adapted to that, so there's not much we have to use for herbicides.